Professor A on the role of fraud in nature. Organisms typically base their success primarily on deception and rely on actual force or mutual advantageous trade symbiosis as little as possible. This should be nearly self-evident, but is generally overlooked due to the moral codes we elitists foist on our subjects. Let me give a few examples in the case of moral culture has some extent impaired your powers of objective observation. Camouflage is universal among predators and victims alike. Blossoms emanate fragrances and colors which are sexually attractive to certain insects in order to effect pollination. Dogs bark ferociously, and foreign attacks and fey attacks on enemies of whom they are, in fact, terrified. The Venus flytrap plants lures flies to their death. Men proclaim their altruism to others and even themselves while they selfishly scramble for personal advantage. If you doubt that this fraud is normal in nature, you should read Section 3 of Chapter 1 of Robert Awdry's The Social Contract for a wealth of fascinating examples. Of course, Awdry fails to grasp the full application to contemporary human society of his brilliant insights into man's animal nature. Human mental prowess and communicative powers have merely provided superb elaboration on nature's old theme of fraud, and added its own distinctive feature, self-delusion. Primitive animal hierarchies are based on bluff and bluster, and each member is well aware of and accepts, at least temporarily, its position in the hierarchy. The same wild enthusiasm and fascination for dominance and submission ranges in human hearts. However, fraud is taken one step further. Not only is fraudulent bluff and bluster used to achieve dominance, but fraudulent altruism and collective intuitions are used to conceal dominance and once achieved. Human hierarchies, in contrast to the animal variety, are best sustained when the members are deluded regarding the oppressive nature, or better, even the very existence of the hierarchy. Visible rulers are highly vulnerable. Thus we see visible rulers claiming to be representatives of God, the common good, the material forces of history, the general will, either through vote or institution, tradition, or other intellectual spooks that serve to lessen the envy of the ruled for the rulers. Encouraging such self-delusion among the masses of the ruled is universal for visible governments. However, such spooks are little protection for the leaders of such systems against their sophisticated elite rivals, and no protection against men like your father. The Roman Empire was unquestioned by the mass of its subjects for centuries, but the emperors lived in constant fear of coup and assassination. By embracing deceptions wholeheartedly at every level, finance capitalism, or ruled through money, has fashioned the ultimate system yet devised for the secure exercise of power. Men like your father, the hidden masters of finance capitalism, govern those who govern, produce, and think through invisible financial tentacles, the operations of which will be elucidated later by my colleagues. Dominance in all aspects of society is surreptitiously accomplished while the great majority of the ruled, and even most of the visible leaders, believe themselves to be fairly autonomous, if harried, members of a pluralistic society. Nearly everyone believes major decisions to be the vector sum of autonomous pressures exerted by business, labor, government, consumers, social class, and other special interests. In fact, the vectors of social power are carefully balanced by us so that any net movement is in a direction chosen by us. The only fly in the ointment is the occasional, but extremely messy, interference by competing financial dynasties. This disconcerting problem will not be a major topic for this weekend. I now yield to Professor Q, who will elucidate the central secrets of your father's immense money power.